Hey guys, what's going on? So, I am doing this as a PSA for Rush Royale to fix the damn game. That's a joke that I had when the Jake Paul thing was happening, and it just kind of stuck with me. I thought everybody always says like fix the game, Rush Royale, and I was like, wow, Jake Paul's catchphrase shouldn't have been defend the damn tower. It should be fix the damn game. So Royal Trials is happening right now, and I very specifically wanted to make this video to tell Rush Royale to fix the damn game. These are the only two decks that you should be running in Royal Trials because none of these units have cooldown. Lightning Mage doesn't have a cooldown, and Alchemist definitely doesn't have a cooldown. And these are the it's not even a debate anymore. These are the two best decks for Royal Trials, very specifically because of how it works. And for legendary units, you can only have talents that go up to 9, but for lesser units, you can have talents that go up to 13. So Alchemist can use Golem, and then the Lightning Mage deck, with all of the modifiers, this early in the game, where you're being placed against, where you can have like a level 20, I believe, Lightning Mage, or you can have like a max Lightning Mage, and then everything else can be max. Like your banner is basically max. I think it's like a 13 banner or something. The numbers on it are crazy. The amount of speed that a Lightning Mage with on a J tile on a banner, the amount of speed and damage that it can deal is insanity. I did a video on it a little while ago. You can backtrace it, where I use Lightning Mage in PvP, and it's crazy. The amount of damage that it can do with a J. This guy has a spear, so he's even speedier than the fast that it can be. He's not running amazing other modifiers. He has Generosity, he has Dragon Hunting, and then Enchant Monster, none of which matter at all during this duel. But he does have the Ring of Random, which makes his J even better. And he also gets an extra tile, so he has 5 tiles. The insane damage that you can output if you have a J, if you have like a pretty maxed out J, with that deck is insane. You already know that Alchemist is good, but this was a deck that I wasn't facing against a lot, and I've always heard about it through Small Shamer. He was always talking about it, that it's the best deck, and I think that the problem with that deck is that it can't deal with negative effects, and it doesn't necessarily want to merge anything out. See, like my deck, it deals with negative effects by I don't care about any unit. So when I get bedlammed, I don't necessarily care. Like I might have a lesser Earth Elemental, which is a problem, because like obviously I have this Earth Elemental that's a level 5 on a tile that I'm trying to build. So if I get puppeteered or if I get bedlammed and that goes away, yes, I do suffer a lot of damage, but I can very easily merge stuff out. And then get Dryads and then boost it back up. There's a big part of me that thinks that if I were to switch out Dryad, not use Dryad and then use Witch instead, I'd be able to beat every deck. Because the only deck that I have any kind of problem with is the Lightning Mage deck, or a Mirror Match. Mirror Matches go 50-50. Lightning Mage decks I don't face often, but I do think it's incredibly good, and if you don't know what the Lightning Mage deck is, here you go. If you are playing literally any other deck, Cultist, Inquisitor, Blade Dancer, Tesla, Spirit Master, if you are playing any other deck, you will get beaten by either of these two decks. If you are using a legendary unit as your damage dealer, you will not go past what these decks can output. When it starts going into armored monsters, that's when legendaries start to struggle, because you are both at 1000 crit. But the problem is, with the Alchemist deck, you can use the golem to stall out, and usually when you get to awakened or armored monsters, when you get to armored monsters, not only do the monsters start to outgrow the amount of damage that you can deal with a legendary card. Like, I've even played Blooming Dash Blade Dancer, and I've gotten up to like 60 stacks, and I was struggling during armored monsters. Like, you're not just auto killing everything, because you're even like in a Blooming Dash deck, you only have the Blooming Dash. You don't have the extra bonuses from the 11 talent and the 13 talent and the 15 talent. And that's why legendaries are just so much worse in this mode, and why these two decks are the literal best decks. And the thing that makes it even better is that neither of these units have a cooldown. So if you wanted to, you could run this every single time. And you should. And I'm telling you right now that you should. Because if you are running literally anything else, you will die to either of these decks. I mean, you might run Blade Dancer and you might beat an Inquisitor, or you might beat a Cultist, but you will never win against Alchemist or Lightning Mage. Both of these decks are so dominant in Royal Trials, and I don't understand how they haven't given either of these units a cooldown. But like something like a Gargoyle has a cooldown, or there's something else that's kind of wacky, like I think it's like a Pyrotechnic. I don't know. There's something else in there that's a common epic rare that they gave a cooldown to, and it doesn't make any sense at all. Alchemist and Lightning Mage should both have cooldowns, and Rush Royale, I hope you see this video, and I hope you understand how broken these two decks are. I get really far into this game with this deck. I thought that King Pudding was for sure going to like mess him up, but he ends up not getting any of his like important units King Pudding. He gets like Stasis King Pudding. He gets like a level 2 King Pudding, but that's basically it. And Stasis doesn't matter. But the fact that the major Lightning Mages didn't get King Pudding, it was pretty much one of my downfalls. I thought that if I was able to survive Grandmaster, he would just immediately die, because all of his things would start getting merged out, and he doesn't want to get merged out. That's a big problem for him. But what ends up happening is I can't... there's a wind speed, or a wind monster, and a mini-boss right there, and I do end up killing it, but the wind monster, or the wind mini-boss, has the ability to push past golems, and I just couldn't sacrifice enough things that I really wanted to sacrifice, and then that started to become a problem, and that's why I end up losing right here. But yeah, if the game were to go into the next round, if I sacrificed enough things for the the golems, I would have won. But because I didn't, and I couldn't react fast enough, I lost. Both of these decks are incredibly dominant, and they are so dominant that it makes this entire mode basically a joke. If you have a very high level J, you should probably run the Lightning Mage deck. If you don't, you don't necessarily need to run Mari in this deck. I like running Mari, because I think that's an extra quote-unquote golem. It also gives me extra mana. But I was running J right before it. I think the Summoner is really important, and I think the Dryad is probably the least important. And I think I might replace it with Witch, with the Cruel Joke talent, and just make an offense witch, or a defense. I guess that's a support witch, or I guess it's support either way. But it's not the Gift of the Raven witch. Like, I'm not trying to boost my attack. I think that I would run witch, because my only major problem is the Lightning Mage deck. But yeah, like I think Rush Royale needs to give both of these units a cooldown. Actually, you know what? It's kind of a long form video anyway. I'm gonna check it. It's two ridiculous things. I know that one of them is a Gargoyle, one of them is a Crystalmancer, and one of them is an Ivy. Why those have cooldowns and why Alchemist and Lightning Mage don't is insanity. Arena, you're getting a level 13 Lightning Mage. You're able to get a level 13 Alchemist. You're getting a 13 Banner. Whereas with legendaries, you're getting them at 9. And that difference is what makes this mode insane. That's why Lightning Mage and Alchemist are both so good. I hope Rush Royale sees this. I hope they give both of these units a cooldown, because the mode is completely busted. They gave things cooldowns so that you wouldn't be able to use the same things all the time. And prior to them doing that, I used to run Volumi Dash Blade Dancer and I used to beat everybody. But then they gave everything they gave all the legendaries a cooldown, and then you'd have to like rotate decks. With Alchemist and Lightning Mage, you don't need to rotate your deck. Just keep playing this and you will win. And I don't think that's what they intended for this mode. But that's the life that we exist in. So that's my tips to you.